Welcome to the Andrew Carnegie Free Library Music Hall, the Carnegie. I like to start here because if you closed your eyes and pictured library, chances are you would picture us. The beautiful natural light, even on a great day like this, it's just lovely. All the beautiful oak furnishings, the original iconic circulation desk. It's this very serendipitous combination of grand with the columns and the skylight and homey. And homey really does win out, which I think is important in a library. You do want to curl up with a good book here. You can see over there the beautiful reading room. It's just, I can't imagine a better place to come to work. And we have people who do their study for their MCATs, their law board, and so really camp out for weeks here. Our display cases. I love that one because this is our community case. We call it case histories, and people, we always have one on the Civil War, but people can bring in their art, their collections, family histories. They don't have to be profound or important collections. They're just things that are important to you. But what's amazing is seeing people stop and look, because the things that are important to you resonate with other people as well. But look at this reading room. There she is, studying. What a beautiful place.
Do you want me to move?
No, not at all. It's just such a wonderful spot to come and do your work. Circulation desk, I like to say, but when people all over the country got rid of these gorgeous circulation desks, and I like to say you can belly up to the circ desk. It gives Kevin a 360 way to see what's going on. People can approach it from any angle, but it's really, libraries are gathering places as well as anything else, and it's very easy to just stop here and have a chat. Computers are ever popular in all libraries. Our wonderful fireplace, we're a great benefactor. The Andrew Carnegie Free Library is one of only 4 libraries in the country that Andrew Carnegie endowed. The others were Braddock, the first Carnegie Library in America, Homestead and Duquesne, all out in the Mon Valley where he had his steelworks. In the case of Carnegie, the leaders of what were then Chartiers on the west side of the creek, and Mansfield, where we are on the east side of the creek, approached Carnegie with the proposition that they merge and become Carnegie. The borough incorporated in 1894. And this library and music hall was Andrew Carnegie's legacy gift to the town that took his name a year and a half after the Homestead Pinkerton riots. It meant a great deal to Andrew Carnegie. He wasn't exactly the most popular guy right after that major historic milestone. But there he is, and we are very glad to be Carnegie. A lot of Carnegie libraries, they're always much more than a library. He believed in providing things for the whole person. So I'm going to take you into the music hall. Endowment wasn't a good model. The Duquesne Library was torn down in the 60s. About 35 years ago, we had $136 in our checking account after payroll, and people wanted to tear down this beautiful building. It's kind of hard to imagine, but nothing had been done for more than 100 years. We launched a capital campaign in late 2003. We got a $500,000 challenge grant. The stipulation was that we had to raise a dollar-for-dollar match from Carnegie and surrounding communities. No Pittsburgh foundations, no Pittsburgh corporations, no government money. If the community didn't support it, why should anyone else? But that's a tall order for a place that had sunk so low. And we had 10 months to do it. Long story short, we were doing incredibly well. We were $45,000 short. We had 2 weeks to go. I had plan A, plan B, plan C. And that was September 17th, 2004, and I don't know if you'll remember this, but that was a devastating time. That's when the aftermath of Hurricane Ida ripped through this part of Allegheny County, and I think Etna and Millville as well. Carnegie was underwater. It was a devastating flood. Somebody was killed. It was truly a tragedy. In the 2 weeks between the flood and our September 30th deadline, the community gave us $60,000. it still takes my breath away. It's like that Greek myth, you know, the guy running the marathon. It was like, if we can't make it, you go. And we have gone. It is now $9 million later. The building is structurally sound, weatherproof, accessible. Most parts of it are air conditioned. Come in and see our beautiful music hall. All the lights have been turned out. We have them on. Okay. I don't know if you can take it in the dim light. But here it is. And it's acoustically superb. It's patterned after Carnegie Hall in New York. What I love about it is it's a no-frills music hall. It's very handsome, but it's all about the stage and what happens on the stage. What's happening on the stage right now, by the way, is Stage 62's production of Peter and the Starcatcher. Stage 62, which has been around since 1962, is our resident theater company. As I said, this is acoustically superb. We did a concert in 2005. We brought in an internationally renowned mezzo-soprano, Marianne Carnegie, and the Post-Gazette named her concert one of the top 10 classical performances of the year. Marianne's magnificent instrument gets most of the credit, but if this hall didn't showcase her beautifully, there's no way we'd be competing with the Pittsburgh Symphony. And I always say you can't take that away from us. Chatham Baroque records here, La Quartetto Latino-Americano. I love saying that. Made 5 recordings here. They love the sound. We're not a sound studio, but they just love the sound. As I said, we were in very, very bad shape. These are all new and comfortable and commodious seats, and I hope you can see it in this light. Do you see there are name plaques on almost every seat? That fills my heart. It bodes so well for the Library and Music Hall's future. You might see it a little better over here, and I actually have a very special seat if I can find it. One of these has got Hannes Wagner's name on it. I think it's right around here. But these are people in Carnegie and surrounding communities, many of whom could afford it, but for others who paid it off for 5 years, who gave us $500 to have their family names be part of this hall forever. And it just makes me very, very proud. You can see that whole center section is full. We have a few seats left here. But, you know, every couple of months, somebody else comes forward and gets a new one. And we do wonderful concerts here. They range from musicals. Stage 62 is doing Spamalot this summer. In the fall, we're doing a belly dance performance. Next January, we're doing an opera with Duquesne University School of Music, and everything in between. Joe Negri's Mass of Hope, a jazz mass. They're just wonderful, wonderful things. And in addition to the superb acoustics, it's a really intimate size. I think intimate theater is better. I know it's better for audiences. I think it's better for performers, too. They just really enjoy it. We're going to go backstage. Let's go this way. And it always gets a little raggedy when you go down. Oh, yes, it's much brighter back here. Be careful because we're in the middle of the production. By the way, I'm proud of everything here. The 3 remaining endowed libraries, Braddock and Homestead, we're the only one that has stage right and stage left capability. They were all built as music halls, but Homestead and Braddock, you can only enter from one side, and it's that stage right, stage left that lets us block, which means you can do dance, you can do theater, you can do opera. It may not seem like it would be inhibiting, but always going off in the same direction just doesn't work in theater. I don't know if you have time. Do you have any interest in seeing the dressing rooms? Okay. Because I didn't turn on a light, we're going down the dark hall. This is a 35,000 square foot building. People say, how do you find your way? I think I know every square inch, but I realized for a first time visitor, it's a little confusing. I'm going to go turn on the lights first. And I always say ta-da here. By the way, it's messy, but that's because there's a production. Actors are not going to really clean up after themselves. But there's something about these mirrors and lights that just screams theater to me. That's why I didn't turn on the overhead lights. I like it much better this way. Obviously, Snickers are part of getting ready for the show, or golly, that's a lot of candy. But this used to be a hellhole. When I came here, the space back in 2003, the space that we had for dressing rooms was an L that was smaller than here. Men and women in the same space. Actors don't care. They'll do whatever it takes to put on the show. Drop ceilings, sodden floor. Water was the biggest problem. Weatherproofing the building was the biggest task of probably everything that we did. And it always makes me realize actors, they have egos, but they're very valiant people. They deserve, they'll do whatever it takes to put on the show, but they deserve a space like this. And by the way, for Peter and the Starcatcher, the ladies' room, which is much larger, as it should be, has been taken over by the men. There's only one woman in Peter and the Starcatcher. Men's room being used by Molly, who is, I guess, Wendy's mother. It's a prequel to Peter Pan. Now we're going down to the studio. By the way, these were all steps. Our building is level, but apparently it wasn't built on anything level. There were so many steps and stairs and different levels just in the basement. Part of the restoration has made it fully accessible. And here is our studio. I do call this our urban hipster space, and I would never claim to be hip, but it is pretty urban. This is the old gym. This was actually one of the very few spaces that had been compromised. The bad news is that we hadn't done anything in 100 some odd years, and the good news is that we hadn't done anything to diminish the gorgeous historic character. But this had drop ceilings that covered the windows, and I guess a raised floor to deal with the fact that water was pouring in. So when we got the funding to do this, we've done the above and below grade weatherproofing. The directive was just gut it. And there's something about the brick and the stone still yet let you know you're in this wonderful, important, historic building. But then there's, the concrete floor, the exposed duct work, and this space is now this is sort of our multi-purpose programming space. But thanks to People's Natural Gas, we are now doing performances down here. We have introduced a series called Listen Locally downstairs. This area becomes a stage. We sort of fan out the seats on either side of the columns. We have high tops and then small tables in front. The inspiration was I saw something at Club Cafe, and great place, vibrant place, and I said, their stage is hardly bigger than that table over there. The acoustics weren't like the acoustics upstairs in the music hall. I said, wow, this is a club vibe. We can do music and other kinds of performances, as well as art shows and everything else down here. So I think we launched this in February. We're coming up next Wednesday, May 17th, is our fourth Listen Locally downstairs, and I am so excited. Morgan Arena, who is an amazing singer-songwriter. She's probably, maybe 30th. She's written over 600 songs. Songs are like her breath and how she breathes. But I am not part of the cool music scene, but I had read a wonderful article about her in the Post-Gazette, And I actually say she was the inspiration for Listen Locally downstairs, because I spoke with my colleague and said, this is what we should be doing downstairs in the studio. And Susie is so wonderful. I was thinking sometime in the future, and she just said, let's do it. So we launched it in February, and we now have monthly third Wednesdays, and I would never have done this. It's good to trust your colleagues. We do it at happy hour. I said it's happy hour timing. The great music is the draw, and drinks by donation are just incidental. And then you can wander down to the amazing Main Street. Carnegie is burgeoning. We have so many different restaurants. 131 East, Bacon, Papa J's, Indian restaurant, a sushi restaurant, a fabulous coffee house. And so I say, come here, enjoy the music, the conversation, whatever, and then enjoy our town, because the bond between the Carnegie and the town it serves is a pretty powerful one. And I like to say we are the Carnegie. Move over Oakland, move over Squirrel Hill, move over Carnegie Hall in New York. We are the Carnegie with an acoustically superb music hall that's literally located where Broadway meets Main Street. Who wouldn't want to be us? And you know what? I forgot to point something out. I mentioned that we had replaced the seats. We had notoriously uncomfortable seats. They're kind of cool. Here they are. Complete with hat racks underneath. But we had to hand out pillows for people to sit on these. And most people, when we put in those gorgeous new seats, who look like they belong in our hall, were like, Hosanna, thank you, you saw, thank you. Some people said, Maggie, I'll give you $500, just get comfortable seats. But a little teeny bit of pushback from people say, these are historic. And I say, hey, we have paid so much attention. Historic preservation is not about where you park your butts. I want people to pay us to go to a performance rather than us to have to pay people to sit in the seats. We've scattered them around the building. We hang on to our history, but I can assure you that attendance has grown significantly since we've had comfortable seats in the music hall. So try them out.